And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and today I'm taking a look at Ticket to Ride Germany. Now, Ticket to Ride is a franchise of games, and there are many of them that are in existence, starting with the original Ticket to Ride. One of the earlier Ticket to Ride games was called Ticket to Ride Markland, which was based on the Markland model trains. It was also a map of Germany, the exact map that's included in this game. And in that game, you were moving passengers from city to city. Well, in Germany, they simplified it somewhat and published it there. And now it's been brought to the English-speaking world as Ticket to Ride Germany. There's actually a change from Markland. The passengers are gone. Instead, well, they're there, but they're in a different manner. The game plays very differently. If you've never played a Ticket to Ride game before, don't worry. I'm going to explain how to play this game right now. So here's the board. It's a map of Germany, and at the beginning of the game, you're going to take a bunch of colored meeples and pull them from a bag, and the book shows you some of the cities get more than one. Most cities get just one, but like Stuttgart here gets 3 meeples placed in it randomly. Each player is also going to draw 4 tickets from a deck. These tickets are various colors. There's also wild tickets. These are locomotives here. And then players are also going to pick 4 tickets. There are short tickets and long tickets. So let's say maybe, for example, I pick these tickets here. So I got Frankfurt. It shows you the 2 cities that you are going at, trying to connect to each other, and the amount of points that you will gain or lose if you can complete those. And you're going to keep a certain number of these. You have to keep some, but you don't have to keep all of them, and discard the rest. So let's pretend I keep all of them. On a player's turn, they have just a few options. They can take more train cards. So over here you see 5 face-up train cards. I can take the wild locomotive if it's face-up, but that's all I get. Or I can take 2 other cards. Let's say I take this black one. It would then be replaced. I don't want any of those other colors, so I can take one off the top of the deck, which happens to be a red one anyway. If when you're drawing off top of the deck, let's say on my turn I just draw 2 off top of the deck, and one of them's a wild, well, I just got lucky. The wild only counts as 2 cards if it's face-up. If at any point 3 of the cards that are face up are wilds, then all the cards are discarded and you draw 5 new cards. So it's kind of a way to clear things out. Now another thing you can do on your turn is you can connect 2 cities, as long as you have the correct cards to do so. So if I want to connect these 4 between Augsburg and Nuremberg here, I would need to play 4 orange trains. Now I don't happen to have 4 orange trains in my hand, but I do have 1 orange train and 3 wilds, which count as any color. At that point, I would take 4 of my trains, and I would place them here. You can't do part of a route. You have to do the entire route, and you can't do more than 1 route on your turn, just 1 route. So I would connect these 4. When that happens, 2 things occur. It's a length 4, so I look up here, and a length of 4 trains is going to give me 7 points. So I would score 7 points. Then I get a meeple from each city connected. There's only 1 in each one, so I take those. If there had been no meeples, if I had connected these 2, I would get to choose which of these 4 I would get to keep. When you're building on a gray track, you can use any color, but they all have to be the same colors. You'll notice that between some cities, there's 2 lines. These are yellows and pinks. In a 4 or more player game, then players can use both lines. Otherwise, if I use the 4 yellows and put 4 trains in between these, then nobody can use the pinks. And there's even triple lines here in different places. So the longer a line is, the more points you will get. Players will continue doing this. They're either going to draw cards, they're going to play trains, or they can even draw more tickets. When they draw tickets, they'll take a number of tickets. They have to keep at least 1 of them and discard the rest. The game will end when 1 person is down to 2 or less trains. Everyone gets 1 final turn, including the person who has 2 or less trains. And then you will look at your scores that are currently at, and then players will score each of their tickets. They will look at their tickets. Have I connected Frankfurt to Austria? So Austria can be connected to in multiple places. So I look at Frankfurt. I see if I have somehow line, even if the line goes all kinds of kooky ways, as long as it connects there, I will get 10 points. If I don't have them connected, I will lose 10 points. So you can get a lot or lose a lot of points from your tickets as you complete them at the end of the game. Whoever's completed the most tickets is going to get a bonus, a Globetrotter bonus of 15 points. And then you're going to look at these guys that you've been collecting. Whoever has the most of each color. So there's the different colors. Whoever has the most of each color is going to get 20 points, and whoever has the second most is going to get 10 points. Those points are added in, and whoever has the most points overall is the winner of the game. So Ticket to Ride Germany, I like this game because I like all Ticket to Rides. But I will say, of all the Ticket to Rides, this is certainly one of my lesser favorite ones, which is odd because Ticket to Ride Markland is my favorite. Now, the basic concept of Ticket to Ride I love. If you never played Ticket to Ride before, the game is so simple. You draw cards, play cards, or draw more tickets. Drawing tickets happens infrequently, so most of your turns are simply drawing cards. There's no hand limits. You can have a huge hand of cards. So you might want to hoard your cards, not wanting to declare where you're going to go on the board. If you've never played Ticket to Ride before, you're trying to connect your routes and get points, so you can spoil other people's routes. You see someone connecting things, you might say, I like to go there and block that person. Now, that can be a mean thing, and Ticket to Ride can be a mean game, but usually you don't want to do that because the amount of points that you get for blocking someone isn't worth messing up and connecting your own routes for. Except in this game. In this game, it's much more worthwhile to block somebody because you also get the meeples at the end. And in fact, at the beginning of the game, some of those short routes, you're just going to grab whether they're on your ticket lines or not because they're going to mess other people up, and you're going to get some of those meeples which score at the end of the game. Now, if you just go for meeples, I don't think you can win because I've tried to forget everything else and just score the most meeples and get all those majorities. That's not enough to overcome other people's scoring plus their tickets if they're playing well, even if you're spoiling and trying to block them. So that's good. I'm glad that's not a viable strategy in that regard because it would just mess everyone else up and it's just not as much fun. But this game worked really well in the Markland universe because you were connecting routes and in the middle of the map, all right? Especially down here in this region, right? Especially in a where you're not playing with 4 players more and you're really like getting in each other's way and blocking each other a lot more. That way is extremely crowded. Now, in Markland, it didn't matter because moving the passengers was a pretty big deal in that game. And you could use other people's routes to move the passengers. Here, it's a bigger deal, so there's much more blockage, especially with those meeples being in the pot. And so this game is one of the more frustrating ones. Now, some people don't mind the frustrating ones where other people block you, but it's going to happen a lot in this game. Now, this all sounds very negative, and I don't mean to. This is a negative review for a Ticket to Ride game. The only Ticket to Ride game I dislike is Rails and Sails. The rest I think are fine, and this one's good, and I would play it again. I'm just saying I would rather play the other one. The Markland, the original Markland rules I like better than these, but this is still interesting. Just realize you're going to be in for a tough game, and realize that those meeples there. One more thing I don't like about the meeples is there's a certain number put out in a city, and you look at a map in a rule book. Why didn't they just put a number on the board that said how many meeples go in each city? The little wooden guys. It seems really obvious to me, but whatever. The game looks good. Of course, the miniatures are great. The little meeples have fancy hats or top hats. The trains look good, and they use good colors. Purple trains, it's always good to have purple and black and white as playable colors. They still need to get rid of red and yellow. I mean, I still don't know why they can't use colors that are different than the train colors. But I'm digressing here. Ticket to Ride is an amazing game. It's one of the games I played more than any other. Ticket to Ride Germany is in that group. I really enjoy it. Lots of fun. It's always fun to play in a new map, too, so the German map is good. Connecting the countries, there's not a lot of weird rules about this map, just the meeples. It's a very easy thing to add. I just don't know that it added a lot of fun for me to the game. I thought it was merely okay. So I like this one, but, it is what it is. Dice Tower Judgment, approved!
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door.